Hello, what's up? So it's February already, and February is such an important time for me in the garden here in Phoenix, Arizona, because it's a time of planning and preparing for the spring season. So today I'm gonna take you around the garden. We're going to do some of these tasks together, and I'm going to tell you what I like to do in February to help set myself up for a great spring season. Hi, my name is Ashley, and it's my mission to inspire you to grow your own food. Thank you for joining me on my journey as I grow my own food here in my backyard garden here in Phoenix, Arizona. So my top priority in February is definitely going to be cleaning up and decluttering. I have accumulated a mess over the last fall season. A lot of my plants are starting to get severely overgrown, so now is a really good time to get everything cleaned up so that I can start with a nice clean slate. Also, I'll be going through and picking some plants out that have died over the winter. So cleanup is number one. So behind me here, you will see my garlic bed. So I'm gonna go ahead and fertilize it with this fish fertilizer. I like to use this because it won't burn and it has a high nitrogen content, which is good at this point for the garlic. Also going to use this bone meal. It says it's for bulbs, so it's a slow release type of fertilizer, so I think this is going to be good for the garlic once it starts to bulb. So a side note on fish fertilizer, if you haven't used it before and you're looking to go out and buy some, I gotta tell you that this stuff stinks. It smells like fish, so just keep that in mind. And if you put it on your plants like in the summer, you probably are gonna get some flies buzzing around there wondering like what's dying. Okay, so I'm just gonna do the same thing with my onions. Something else I'm going to be doing this month here in February is I'm going to go around. If some of my plants are bolting, I'm going to be choosing whether or not to harvest it all or leave some for seed. I have a lot of daikon seed already, so I'm going to harvest most of this and I'm going to leave just a couple for the pollinators. So during the month I'm going to be using the same technique for anything that bolts, whether it be my lettuces, carrots, kales, broccoli, anything that bolts. I'll probably leave one or two for the pollinators and then pick it all out as soon as I start to see signs of bolting. All right, so this is what I've harvested, these 4, and then I left 3 in there to go ahead and bolt for the pollinators. Daikon has these really pretty flowers that are going to bloom, and it's going to attract pollinators like bees. In this bed I have bok choy and radish bolting, and I don't need any of those seeds. Also, I don't think that those plants are going to make a huge impact as far as for pollination, so I'm just going to go ahead and take all of them out. And the reason I'm just going to take them all out is because having the plants there, so it's going to use up resources, right? So it's going to be using up the resources within the soil and also the water resources. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them out, but I'm going to put them right on top of the soil. That way the soil doesn't dry out by the time I need to plant more in that area. Another thing I'm going to be doing in February to get ready for spring is I'm going to be removing the old dead and dying plants, like this habanero plant that just did not make it. As you can see, most of this plant is very crispy and crunchy, most likely dead. But with this pepper plant, what I'm actually going to do is just cut it from the bottom, and if there's any chance that this plant is still alive, then it can regrow. All right, so as you can see, I took out these 2 dying habanero plants. So I'm going to use the radish leaves from earlier to cover the soil so that my little soil microorganisms don't die. In addition to what we've done together today in the garden, my preparation for spring is really going down in February. So some of the other items of my to-do list are to plot out my spring garden. So I like to do that using dot paper. Also, I started some seeds indoors in January, so I'll be moving those into bigger pots indoors. So probably try and get them outdoors in indirect sunlight under my patio just to start getting them acclimated for spring planting. February is also a good time to plan out any large spring projects like planting any trees or starting any new beds. I like to plan these out in February, so once March comes around, beginning of March, I can start making those things happen. Also, another big thing is harvesting. I'll still be harvesting all of my cool season veggies, my peas, my carrots, my tomatoes, collard greens. I'll probably get the last few remaining great harvests this month in February. So thank you so much for joining me as I work on my garden and tell you about all the great things that February has to offer. I hope you are doing well, and see you next time.